Welcome back. You're watching Tech Today on Science TV, and I'm speaking to Gaia Mandela, and we are talking about digital workspaces and productivity tools for people with visual impairment. Of course, you listened to what we were discussing in the first part of this show, and now we are getting into the second part. And as I said before we took the break, we will be discussing the importance of digital literacy in this context. How important is digital literacy? Guy.
Well, that's a very serious thing to talk about because, like we mentioned in our first segment, that in the past we just had button phones.
Yeah.
And so that meant we didn't have any privacy on our devices, right? When wanasemanga simu ya mtu ni kama ni title deed or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we didn't have that privacy. That we didn't enjoy the privilege of reading our own messages, responding independently. So that tells you
doing transactions.
Absolutely, even sending money, receiving, knowing how much you have received.
Yeah.
Getting serious documents, emails, and all that. So that means that these innovations have actually brought in a great sense of independence in the life of a blind or visually impaired person.
Yeah. Allow me to interrupt Tena. Before we move on to discuss other importances.
Right.
Like there is an experience I just watched on a movie. This guy was a blind guy acting, and he wanted to be shown the direction to go to a certain member of parliament. And then he spotted some guys and he told them, I want you to look for a contact. I think the name was Mr. Mbego. So that guy was there waiting for them to get that contact. But just imagine the guy disappeared with the phone. So do you have any experience that you can share with us, ishai kufanyikia, when you needed assistance, when you didn't have a smartphone or the one you are using right now? Absolutely.
Yeah, being a blind person who has lived many lives, of course I must have an experience to share. There is this time when I needed to transact some money, and then of course I had that button phone, and I requested someone with sight to help me transact. And you see, in that event, you have to trust them with your PIN number. Yes. So when I shared with him my PIN number, he sent the money to wherever I wanted the money sent, and then he also sent some money to himself and deleted the message. So meaning, I got my phone back, but I wouldn't go through my messages to know whether some money has been sent or not. And then also, just later on, only later did I realize that there's some money missing. That is when now I requested someone else also to help me transact. So you don't know who to trust. Is it the first person who helped you transact, or is it this person? So that becomes really ambiguous. Yes.
Okay. All right, you can continue now.
Right. So like we said, it has brought a great sense of independence in the lives of blind people. When they go to work, they can literally use their computers in whatever profession. There are no restrictions of, in the past someone would ask you, who will help you do this? Who will help you send emails or read emails? Who will help you to receive calls and answer the messages and all that? So it has eased even our working ability as blind people. That's what I would say. Right.
Nice. And speaking of workplaces, what role do you think they play in fostering an inclusive environment?
Well, workplaces foster, they play a great role in fostering these innovations by one, ensuring that they make every content digital, every digital content accessible, right? Accessible in the sense that if you have something in hard copy, make it also online, because this person who is blind cannot read the hard copy as comfortably as that person who can see. So when you make it digital, then we can be able to access it through our phones, read it with our screen readers or computers, right? So that is how I think workspaces are trying to, for example, offices, and all that, schools, places that have employed people are trying to foster, to improve on this, and also to make sure that they train their staff on how to handle persons who are visually impaired, deal with them, how to guide them, how to, if you have a document, don't just give it to this person, share it in soft copy, for ease of access. That is it. Right.
Then what advice would you have for the companies looking to implement these technologies? Because already we've talked about workplaces, so you can advise those people who think that hiring a person with disability would be a liability, and they will not be an asset.
Great question. Great question. Well, if anyone wants to get into this field, I think the best thing they should do is to consult experts in this area. For example, special needs experts. Visit institutions where these people work, meaning benchmark. If you know of a blind person who works somewhere, there are big blind people, with senior blind people with names in this country that you can always refer to. Go and ask them, how did you get here? How are you doing this? For example, Fred Haga and all of them, Dr. Samuel, I don't know, Torotich, somebody. So all of them, you can inquire and see how they are doing their jobs comfortably, so that you can also incorporate that in your workspace. And also make sure that in the decision-making process, you also consult blind people and visually impaired people themselves. I would give an example with the new currency that we have right now. It came out some time back, I think 2022 or 2020, before the general elections, somewhere before there. But now this new currency, one of the features that was claimed that it had was to be able to be identified by blind people. They said that it had some lines, some tangible lines that blind people could touch and then identify. But when it was released, those lines are not there.
They are not there.
You cannot touch them.
I even had a show called Money Matters, and I was talking about that. And I was giving some recommendations, and I think if they didn't hear, I can repeat. I think if they are planning to improve on the currency, then at least these lines will be good.
Yeah, so you see the problem was they didn't consult visually directly. Maybe they talked to some expert, and the expert looked at the line and said, oh, I think these ones are tangible, But now they didn't give a totally blind person to touch and confirm. Such are the things that should be done by such industries.
I thought I'm the only one who didn't feel those lines, but I see you also, and even talking to other blind people, they will tell you, those lines are not tangible, you can't feel them.
Yeah, but we have great news for blind people that with your technology at hand, you have several apps that can help you identify your money. Even there's one app called Cash Reader. Just download it. When you move money close to your phone, it says 1,000 shillings, 200, 500, whatever note.
And Cash Reader, I understand the free version that identifies only 50 and 100 shillings.
Absolutely.
And if you want to identify other notes, you can pay for the subscription.
Actually, it's a lifetime purchase. Once you pay, it's not even more than 2,000 shillings. I think it's about 1,700 shillings. Then you have it for life. You don't have to keep paying every month. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a good app. It's worth paying for.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, can you share any resources where viewers can learn more about these tools and training programs?
Well, I would mention that it's important that the mainstream society ensures that they interact with visually impaired people on a daily basis. When you see a blind person somewhere, just talk to them, get to know their lives, know them, and then also try and attend conferences or seminars that are related to the lives of blind people or disabled people. You will learn a lot. And then beyond that, I know you may have something to say, but beyond that, also check websites. There are several available websites. Sites, for example, the Kenya Society for the Blind, Kenya Institute of the Blind, Kenya Union for the Blind, the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. There are several places where you can check. There's another one called Kilimanjaro Blind Trust Africa, right? Yeah, so that is it.
Yeah, and what I wanted to say is, when you mentioned about interaction with the blind people, I know some of us, especially when we are using our phones, people tend to look at us and they wonder, how is this person doing this? I can tell our viewer, don't be afraid to ask. Although some of them may feel offended, mbona ananiangalia nikitumia simu, but ask and be friendly. Ask, how do you do this? How do you do this? And of course, we will be glad to explain, and I'm sure that can be helpful.
Ask in a good way.
Yeah.
Kuna mtu anauliza, wewe unatumiaje simu? Uliza vizuri. Uliza, hey, I'm really interested. I've been sitting next to you here, and I see the way you are using your phone comfortably. Yeah, like vutia huyo mtu ndio pia awe na uwezo wa kujibu. But if you just randomly bash on me, sitaweza kujibu vizuri.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much, Mr. Gaya, for sharing your insights today. And it's clear that with the right tools and support, individuals with visual impairments can achieve incredible productivity in the digital workspaces. And thank you to our viewer for tuning in. Join us next week as we explore more innovations in technology. Until next time, stay curious. This has been Tech Today's show. My name is Chris Mololo. Our sign language interpreter has been Esther Kendi. And just a reminder, this show is courtesy of Kenya Society for the Blind. We wish you a good evening and enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye.